Let's talk about your other job at USCIS. Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. In this video, we're going to talk about the USCIS interview, what happens sort of towards the end of most cases where you're going to get called into your local field office for an interview on your naturalization application, which happens in every case, or on your marriage-based or family-based or employment-based green card, which is happening as well. So when you go to USCIS, you know the routine. You need to bring all your documents. You need to be prepared. You need to know your case backwards and forwards. We've talked about that in many, many other videos. But in this video, we're going to talk about one other little tip or hack that I want you to keep in mind as you get ready to go to your interview and as you go through the interview. And the tip is this, that you might be able to figure out a little bit about the officer by simply looking around. Well, what do you mean by this, Jim? Well, after you get sworn in and you hand over your identity documents, there will be a moment, it happens in every interview, and it happens more than once in every interview, where the officer starts looking at their computer and typing away, or they start looking through documents and they're, not necessarily paying attention to you. In that moment, you have a choice. You could sit there and just stare at them like this, waiting for them to say the next thing, which is okay. Or you can look around a little bit. You have eyes and you have ears. You can look around the office and see, what is it about this officer that makes them tick? What do they find interesting? You'd be surprised at how different each USCIS office is. Now, some officers have files stacked all over the place and they're sort of under duress, under a big pile of paper. Other officers are extremely organized. I knew one officer who had no memorabilia at all. He was former military, and all he had was the one file in front of him. He liked a very clean office. Usually the longer the officer's been there, the more stuff they have all over the place. And when you see what's in the office, I think you can learn a little bit about the person. I certainly do this as the lawyer. When I go in as a lawyer, obviously I'm paying attention to the interview and everything, but I know most of the questions and usually I know the answers before my clients give them. So I spend actually a lot of time looking around and just trying to figure out, what is it about this officer? And then I try to build rapport with them. I might talk to them about where they grew up, or if I notice a university that they went to, I might ask a question about that, or if I know something about a sports team that they have up on the wall. You never know what kind of a connection you can make. And you can do this too. Now, you don't want to do it too much. You don't want overkill. You don't want to be so silly where you're asking about every single piece of donk they have in their office. But at the same time, you can learn a lot about the officer. And I think it has an added benefit. Not only does it give you the chance to build a connection, but it also makes you feel more normal. It makes you feel more human. You're talking to an actual breathing person as opposed to a robot or a military person. But really look around and see what kind of clues you can get. If the person has a lot of military stuff, you might think to yourself, well, they probably like rules and order, and they probably want me to be very concise, and they're probably going to hit me hard on any criminal stuff. If you have someone who has lots of pictures of their cats or, little drawings by their little kids, you can talk about kids. There's all kinds of ways to sort of build that connection and sort of get inside the officer's head to try to figure out what it is that makes them tick, what might make them interested in your case, where they might find issues in your case. And so this is a really important thing to do. I think it really adds value to your experience. It's going to help you feel more comfortable, and it's also going to make you more human and make the interview go a little bit more smoothly. So again, don't do it crazily, don't do it over the top, but if you can find one or two little things up on the wall that you have a connection to, I think that's a really good thing, and it might give you that little edge to get your case approved. I hope you found this helpful. Listen, if you're thinking about going through the naturalization or green card or immigrant visa process and you'd like to talk to us about hiring us as your lawyer, feel free to give us a call at 314-961-8200. You can also email us, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. Now, if you're not thinking about hiring us, if you're just looking for free information, we have lots of great resources for you. One is our Immigrant Home Facebook group. We'd love to have you join there. There's thousands of members, almost 10,000 people in that Immigrant Home Facebook group, and they're talking about the immigration process. They're talking about processing times. They're talking about service centers. They're talking about headaches that they're having, and there's a lot of good information that's exchanged in that group every day. We also have our YouTube channel where I make videos like this one, and I go live a few times a week, 3 or 4 times a week, where I just have the Immigration Answer Show. You can subscribe to that. and you'll get alerted whenever we go live. That gives you the chance to come into the waiting room and ask me a question about immigration, and that's completely free. So that's sort of our give back to the community. That's how we answer questions of a general nature, because we don't do consults, and we only have calls with people who are serious about hiring us. So if that is something that interests you, give us a call or shoot us an email. Otherwise, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.